Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. I wish you to have a nice day. And of course, we're gonna start with the daily chart here where we have the channeling, of course, for this bull run starting from the 15K here where we saw, of course, an impulse toward the upside as a bull run as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Now, the thing that we are estimating in this case area is the wave 5. Is it finished or not yet? Of course, in this wave 5, we have a triple 1-2s and we have, of course, a triple 4-5 internally, and this is the final wave 4 and currently a final wave 5 that it might still be unfolding. As you can see, based on the base channel taken from the wave 1 and based on the wave 2, we can see the price action is still ranging inside this base channel using, of course, its lower lines and its inter lines, of course, as supports. We can see a move toward the upside hitting the higher line, I would say, for the base channel, and then, of course, moving towards the downside, now using it again as a support for this lower line and then moving toward the upside probably again. We're going to see what's going on inside this area on the micro level next. However, if we would like to see a wave 5 unfolding, it is preferably that the price action gets out, of course, of this base channel and hit the acceleration channel, which we have, of course, taken from the wave 2 based on the wave 3, seeing the price action at least hitting the lower line of this acceleration channel. And that, of course, would be a signal that this bull run has, of course, finished. And finally, we got a final wave 5 toward the upside, hitting the acceleration channel and then starting a bear market, of course, or corrective market, I would say, to unfold something even much bigger after having a big wave 1 here and then having wave 2 and then simply continuation towards the upside. Now, for the ultimate bullish scenario here for this bull run, we have, as we said, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Internally, I'm gonna move inside it, of course, where we have as those 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, as we mentioned, as a final wave 5 that it might be unfolding. In this case scenario, we were estimating, of course, an A, B, C, D, and an E triangle, but as you can see, of course, it has been invalidated. We also mentioned that the invalidation of this triangle will be given exactly at this low, transforming this to an A, B, C, especially that you have, of course, a diagonal, which was a higher possibility anyway. And of course, if we were in a triangle, it could be a W, X, and Y, but of course, very low possibility. However, we have finished, of course, as an ABC here, and shifting, of course, towards one of those scenario in this case. Basically, what we are looking right now is a finished ABC at 1-to-1 fib level and continuation toward the upside. What we would like to see, of course, is an impulse, of course, finishing as this wave 5 in case we are 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And at the same time, if you are in a big wave A, B, and a C as the three waves, you would like to see also an impulse toward the upside, finishing, of course, between the 1.23, 1.38 for 119, 126. This is the expanding flat wave B, where you have an A, B, and a C, where you might, of course, move toward the downside. Now, basically, as well, of course, in this case scenario, you might be as well in something bearish, which it can be, of course, diagonal, bigger diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. However, again, this is a diagonal here, and also this is a zigzag. So the difference between, of course, those waves, yeah, reduce so much the possibility for a diagonal. You would like to see, of course, if you start in a motive wave for a wave 1, you would like to see the wave 3 also as a motive wave with 5 waves. We have only 3 as a zigzag. The wave 4 invalidates this impulse toward the downside. And that means, of course, higher possibility goes for this trend toward the upside after this, of course, 1-to-1 fib level. We are looking for those numbers as a price action. Now, if you are bullish, you might be even much stronger trend wave 5 toward the upside, it might reach it around the 129, let's say 130k and 145k, and that means of course in 1 2 3 4 and a 5 toward the upside. So the only difference is the targets, guys, that you might have. Of course, if you are in an impulse here, you might reach higher. If you are in a wave B, of course, you are reaching only around the 119, 126, and this is gonna be the answer for later on. Are we in a wave B or are we in a wave 5? Because this makes a lot of difference. If you are in a wave B, you are continuing simply a wave C toward the downside and then starting the bull run. If we are in a wave 5 here, therefore we have to start a new bear market, meaning new 3 waves towards the downside. And this is a big difference, of course, for the next price prediction. Now, another scenario, as we mentioned, which is the ultimate bearish scenario, directly from there after hitting the 1.05, taken, of course, from this complex wave A. In case we are in an A, B, and you're looking for a wave C, your wave C has to unfold, of course, as a motive wave and as, of course, an impulse. You would like to see a wave 1. Again, lower possibility due to the characteristic of this wave 1 and wave 3 inside this diagonal. Let's move to the 2 hours chart. For the bullish scenario on the 2 hours chart, we are currently, of course, estimating this impulse, which I don't really like. It's a little bit with the shape of it. I'm going to explain, of course, on the micro level, where we have 1 2 3, potentially wave 4 and a 5 still unfolding toward the upside. This is your bullish scenario. Your bearish scenario, is this something corrective? This is something corrective like a W. For a zigzag, you have an X here and potentially another wave Y. So basically, I would like to move exactly on the 15-minute chart to explain exactly what's going on inside this area and why we might be corrective. So starting with this impulse towards the upside, you have a very nice starting here for the wave 1. And then you got an ABC as an expanding flat, a very nice also shape for a wave 2. Then the problem comes in, of course, inside this wave. So I'm gonna zoom in even more so we can see exactly what I'm talking about. So as you can see, this wave toward the upside, which is supposed to be a wave 1 here, continuation of this bull trend, you have a very shallow wave 2 and followed by a very small wave 3, which is horrible, right? Therefore, if this is an impulse, definitely it is not, right? If we are considering all this trend as an impulse, definitely it is not because of this small wave 3 inside it. So you cannot count really 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The wave 5 and the wave 1 both are longer than the wave 3, therefore no impulse. Yeah, higher possibility that this is an A, B, and a C here, where you have the wave C formation as 1, 2, 3. Wave 4 given already here, and then the wave 5 somehow unfolded, of course, in a very choppy wave even. Now it can be something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, yeah, it's a little bit doubtful. Yeah, you cannot really trust so much as this shape even. But basically, I mean, it's corrective at the end. If you are looking even for finishing a wave C, that's fine, because anyway, you are looking at a corrective A, B, and a C here, and where you have potentially another A, B, and a C potentially, or W, X, and a Y, I would say here. So transforming all of this as W, X, and a Y. And this what bring us, of course, for the 2 hour chart that we were looking at it, of course, to the doubt that we have around this impulse toward the upside. So let's go back to it since I have explained the micro level here. So yeah, that's why I'm saying that, okay, we have to be careful from this 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 here. Unless, of course, it is not finished yet. If we get one more wave 5 toward the upside, that would be okay, but yeah, it can be as well W, X, and Y, guys. So we have to be careful, and that all because of this signal that we got inside this wave 3 here. Very small wave 3 based on the wave 1 and the wave 5 inside this impulse, so we have to be careful with it. For the bearish scenario, of course, on the 2 hour chart, we have already explained it. Also on the daily, you have kind of like a 1 2 3 4 5 diagonal, which I don't like it also, but don't forget that you can consider this as well as a zigzag ABC, and that you have another ABC, since here you don't have an impulse, you have an ABC zigzag, and you have an X in between. So it is kind of like a three ways, but it is not impulse correction impulse, which it is, of course, a zigzag, full zigzag that we would like to see, of course, for wave 1, then correction, then a nice zigzag again for wave 3. So this doesn't exist as well, therefore reducing so much the possibility, of course, for being bearish. And now, what does it mean? We're not very bullish, we're not very bearish. What is going on? So basically, the price action is still, of course, finding some answer. I already mentioned this yesterday in the live stream, that it might happen, of course, a bigger corrective wave here, matching somewhere else we got in Bitcoin in the history here, with this big correction. As you can see, this one as A, B, and a C, or I would say W, X, and a Y, where you have a zigzag for the Y, zigzag for the X, for the W, and of course a zigzag for the X here. Which is, of course, a very complex structure, but it was, of course, a very corrective, looking a little bit like a diagonal in 5 ways. But yeah, the end of it is a W, X, and a Y, and we move toward the upside. This thing right now is repeating somehow as the same. It can be, of course, a W, X, and a Y even, or it can be even something else unfolding corrective here as an A, B, and a C, somehow an impulse toward the downside. So your wave B is kind of like this shape, and then moving impulsively for a wave C to finish an A, B, and a C, and then moving toward the upside. Unless we are, of course, bullish again on the micro. Let's go back to the micro to explain what we might face today in case we are bullish. In case you are bullish, we want to estimate this area. Now we have already touched the 0.23 taken from this small wave to here. So what I'm trying to do here is to save this bullish scenario. What does it mean? It means that I'm considering this as a wave 1, 2, very shallow wave 2. It's fine. It's not the rules here. It's about guidelines, but yes, it can be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, meaning this is your wave 3 right now. And you are looking at somehow like this, 1, 2, and 3. And now currently you are in a wave 4 and a 5 toward the upside. Very weird bullish scenario, but I'm trying my best, of course, to save it due, of course, to this yeah, creepy price action here. But I would say if we move towards the upside impulsively here, I would say that, okay, there is a chance to finish this as a wave 3 here. In the yellow, don't forget you still have a 1, 2, meaning wave 3 given there, wave 4, wave 5, of course, to continue. If not, if we don't get this, therefore you have to consider simply this is a wave Y here. The wave Y can be unfolding as somehow like A, B, and a C. It can be here something unfolding as impulsive, maybe for the wave C, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Yep, so we're gonna see how this is going to unfold. But basically, I would say that the next target might be, of course, the 0.38 here, 106, in case we continue to move toward the downside. Why? Because I still don't see any signal of bullish scenario here. As you can see, this is not an impulse on the micro level, and we see, of course, a major drop toward the downside. So I think that, yeah, we might still, of course, visit this blue box between the 106, 105, breaking it, well, reduce so much the possibilities for bullish guys. We might see, of course, this trend toward the downside, as I mentioned in the 2 hours chart here, that it might be, of course, a very big correction as a W, probably as a W, X, and a Y, somehow like this, or it can be an A, B, and a C, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. That was it for Bitcoin today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.